If you've been following the case of missing 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard with me, then you'll know we've all been asking ourselves, when on earth is this mother, 40-year-old Ashley Buzzard, getting arrested? Because at some point, CPS said, look, man, you got to produce your daughter within 72 hours or you get arrested. Well, we didn't see any arrest. In fact, we saw her try to get more rental cars going. We saw her with moving boxes and all sorts of things that have been happening over the weeks since Melodee was last seen. Now, if you don't know anything about this case, don't worry. Firstly, I'm going to link all the previous episodes for you. I think there's 2 or 3 deep dive live streams that we've done. So go check those out afterwards, okay? You got homework. My name is Grizzly, okay? This is Grizzly True Crime. I hope you'll consider subscribing. And sometimes over here, you might get some homework, okay? Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. So this now, finally, is an arrest video. But you know what's so confusing? Ashley Buzzard was not arrested in connection to her daughter's disappearance. What? We're going to do a recap of the case here as well, because I'm going to read you the press briefings from the police, and there they detail everything too. And I want to show you the map again in case it jogs someone's memory, right? But let's look at the update. This is her being arrested, okay, at her house in Lompoc, California. And this happened on November 7th of 2025. And they have charged her with felony false imprisonment. And the police are telling us that this has nothing to do with Melodee's disappearance. That is what's confusing. If it had to do with that, I'd be like, oh, okay. Nothing to do with it? Man, that's weird.
So many people are asking those questions. Behind me is a display for the missing 9-year-old at the home she shared with her mother before that woman's arrest this morning. The baffling story involves a mother and daughter multi-state road trip, disguises, wigs, and swapping license plates. But at the center is 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard of Lompoc in Santa Barbara County, who is missing. Investigators with the sheriff's office say her mother, 40-year-old Ashley Buzzard, has been uncooperative and is now under arrest. Newly released footage shows the embattled mother as authorities took her into custody outside her home Friday. However, the case becomes murkier as investigators explain the arrest is not in connection with the disappearance of Melodee, but rather something unrelated. In fact, surveillance footage shows her tearing down missing person posters with her daughter's picture and moving boxes at their home. Did you know them well? What were they like?
They never came out. They didn't socialize. Something was weird going on.
Is the arrest surprising to you?
No. Should have did it a long time ago.
I think so.
Yeah.
Do you hope that they locate Melodee and that she's safe?
Of course I do. Beautiful little kid.
Okay, so we're going to go over the updates and everything now. But first, I want to show you this map just to give you an idea again of just how far Ashley Buzzard traveled with her daughter. It's an insane amount. I mean, whoa. To just randomly do this, you know? She's apparently living off social security benefits. I'm sure she's got benefits for Melodee as well, who's 9 years old, and Melodee's dad died when she was 6 months old, right? And so they say Ashley hasn't ever been the same since, that she pretty much wrote off the dad's side of the family, isolated Melodee, had her homeschooled, even neighbors around this house, around Mars Avenue in Lompoc, California, where Ashley lived with Melodee. The neighbors say they never came outside. They hardly ever saw Melodee outside. Phew, that is so concerning. But then to just suddenly on October 7th be like, all right, taking a road trip, and off goes Ashley with Melodee in a rental vehicle. And then it gets so much worse because along the way, Ashley's changing the license plates to New York ones. Not even any of these states. New York? Where'd you get a New York license plate, lady? New York license plates. She's also changing wigs. Oh my goodness. So to drive all the way, this is a 1,500 mile journey from Lompoc, California to Nebraska. And what they know is we're still worried. This is an extremely concerning case. But my point is, we're worried that what happened to Melodee in Nebraska? But there's always hope, right? And the FBI and the detectives are saying Melodee was last seen on October 9th of 2025. And that was on the return route, actually. So that's interesting. And they mentioned Kansas. Interesting. Okay, they didn't put Kansas on the map, but they've mentioned Kansas before. Now, to me, Kansas is a little bit interesting because Melodee is pictured when she's younger in a Dorothy outfit, like from The Wizard of Oz. And that story is based in Kansas. You know, the whole there's no place like home. And I'm wondering if this mother convinced Melodee to join her on this road trip, this exciting time, where they're going to go across all these different lands and themes and things to Kansas. That's just a theory. Okay, I'm just like, why on earth would she also make a stop in Kansas? I mean, none of us know why any of this was done. None of us know where Melodee is. And that's what everyone wants to know. Now, just so you know, from my Google research, it says in California, false imprisonment is defined under penal code, and there's a number under the unlawful violation of another person's personal liberty. This can involve restraining, confining, or detaining someone against their will, without lawful authority or consent, even if briefly and without physical harm. Okay, the offense is charged as a felony when the false imprisonment is accomplished through violence, menace, fraud, or deceit. Without these aggravating factors, it's typically a misdemeanor, but they say they charge it with felony false imprisonment. So to prove that, prosecutors must establish the defendant intentionally and unlawfully restrained, detained, or confined the victim. The victim did not consent. The act was done using violence, menace, fraud, or deceit. And the victim's personal liberty was violated. Their freedom of movement was restricted. To me, that all sounds like it's related to 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard, but the police are saying it's not. That they found this while investigating the disappearance of Melodee Buzzard. Let me know in the comments what on earth you think that means. What did she do? This mother is completely unhinged. Now, her own mother, Ashley Buzzard's mother, says that her daughter struggles with her mental health. I'm saying again, if you watched all the live streams, I've said it before. She's very calculated. She's coordinating outfits. She's renting a vehicle. She's switching wigs. She's changing license plates. I mean, she's doing all sorts of things that are incredibly calculated. And then when she comes home without Melodee on October 10th of 2025, I mean, that's a long trip to go from October 7th, you know what I mean? And already go all the way to Nebraska and maybe Kansas and already be on the way back on October 9th. And then Melodee was last seen between Green River, Utah and Grand Junction, Colorado.
Her father's family, his people.
And my family.
And your family are along those routes.
Utah.
Utah.
Yeah, Utah. When you start getting past Utah coming back, that's when you're running into his friends.
So this is the patch where police know Melodee last was somewhere between here. I think they said at a gas station. I think they actually said it was this word. Yeah, Fruta. I don't know how to say that properly. Fruta. In this area, she was seen at a gas station. They haven't shown us that footage, but somewhere along this route, Melodee was last seen on October 9th. And from there, police do not know where Melodee went. But her mother returned home without her, so she drove the rest of the way then. Well, we don't know up to where. But she returned home without her, gave the rental car back with its original license plates on. Sure, that is a calculated mother. Now, did she deceive her daughter, and say we're going on this Wizard of Oz themed trip? Let's go to Kansas together. Maybe that would have excited Melodee. Maybe that would have been like, yeah, let me put on a wig and let's pretend and let's go on this trip and everything. Who knows? But then what happened? Did Ashley Buzzard leave her with someone that she knows? Ashley's mother said that Melodee's father's side has got friends in Utah. So that's interesting, right? In Utah, especially if the police say that Melodee was last seen between Green River, Utah and Grand Junction, Colorado. So is Melodee, was she left with friends? Or somebody that actually knows? Was she sold? Or was she killed? Those seem to be the plausible options at this point, right? And we don't know which one it is. So there's no point in trying to destroy everybody's hope and saying, no, she's definitely deceased. We don't know that. What the police need from us as the public is to continue to share this information so that anyone in any of these areas, particularly, let's say from Green River, Utah, from here all the way to Lompoc, California, if anyone there has not yet checked their ring cam footage, dash cam footage, hotel surveillance footage, gas station footage, whatever it is, all the footage to see if you see Ashley and Melodee, and please remember to keep an open mind, because Ashley was changing wigs, they could have looked very different along this entire route, which again, I would think that it's Ashley telling Melodee, we're going to dress up and we're going to go on this whirlwind trip, yeah, and then? This case reminds me so much of the case of missing Timothy Pitson, who was last seen in Aurora, Illinois, and that was in May of 2011. And his mother did this thing where she took him on a random trip and took him to all his favorite places, and then he disappeared. Later, she took her own life. Nobody knows where Timothy is. There's been no sign of him ever since May 11th of 2011. So if you've never checked out that case, please go and check it out as well. It's linked in the description box. So you just, I'm doing this because I'm used to showing you. Click over here. Okay, don't click it. Expand the description box, and then you'll find the previous episodes we've done on Melodee Buzzard's case. And then you'll also find, I'll put a link there for you to watch Timothy Pitson's case, which we don't know where Timothy is. I mean, the biggest theory out there is that his mother left him with like a community, like an Amish community or secluded community, or with like friends that she had a connection somehow. So it's very similar theories as to what's developing in this case. Of course, this case is also sadly reminding a lot of people of what Lori Vallow Daybell did, right? When her children went missing, she wouldn't produce the children. Eventually she was arrested, and it was absolutely horrifying to find out what happened to her kids, right? They were killed. And so her only surviving child, who's now a grown-up, Colby Ryan, was actually on News Nation saying exactly that, like, this is eerily similar to the disappearance of JJ and Tylee. So that's scary, right? Either way, what we need to do is share the information. So let me quickly show you now what the latest is that the police say. So this is from the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office. I'm linking all the sources in the description box for you so that you can check it out. And they say detectives arrest Ashley Buzzard on unrelated charges, search for Melodee ongoing. Lompoc, California, sheriff's detectives have arrested 40-year-old Ashley Buzzard on charges unrelated to the ongoing search for her missing 9-year-old daughter, Melodee Buzzard. Detectives learned of a recent incident where Ashley prevented a victim from leaving a location against their will, which constitutes false imprisonment. This crime is not connected to the ongoing search for Melodee. However, detectives are unable to fully outline the crime, as it would impede their ongoing investigation. What in the hell does that mean? What do you think that means? I know none of us know, but let me know what your theory is. What do you think they're trying to say over there? Like, what on earth did she do? On Friday, November 7th of 2025, detectives arrested Ashley on a warrant for a felony charge of false imprisonment. She will be booked at the Northern Branch Jail with bail set to $100,000. I don't think she'll afford bail, so hopefully no one else will bail her out, because they need to keep her in there now and question the crap out of her. She better start talking, because she's not talking at all. And that is a huge concern. If she was in front of the cameras, even if she was acting shady, right? Sure, at least you're talking to the cameras, you're pleading for your daughter's return. She's not doing any of that. She's not talking to anyone. Whoa, that's scary. So her booking photo, they say, does not meet the criteria for public release and will not be distributed. What does that mean? What do you mean it does not meet the criteria for public release? Okay, are we supposed to FOIA request this now? What's going on here? Oh my word. So they said, although this arrest occurred during the course of the missing person investigation, it is not directly related to Melodee's disappearance. Are you sure? Okay, sheriff's detectives remain fully focused on locating Melodee and confirming her safety. Members of the public who have seen Melodee or who may have information about her whereabouts are urged to contact the sheriff's office through any of the following methods. So it's all linked in the link that I'm putting in the description box. I've also put those numbers and things in the description box too. If you saw something and haven't yet said something, even if you think, oh no, they probably know that, it's just such a small tip, do it anyway. Call it in, right? Check your ring cam, dash cam, surveillance footage, everything. You never know what could really help to find Melodee, because that's the goal, find Melodee. Oh my goodness. So, okay, and the mother obviously knows where she is and she's not talking. That is so frustrating. Now let's look at this one. They say updated information in search for missing at-risk child, surveillance video shared. Interestingly, they initially shared just 2 pictures of Melodee, right? In fact, it was right here. They shared this picture and then they also shared this picture, which looks very different to the picture that Ashley wanted to share with everybody of her daughter when it was from 2023. Okay, so here she is, and the police think she's wearing a wig. And they think that Ashley at some point on the return trip put this wig on. That is scary. That just, I don't know, that just gives me the chills. So they showed us that. They also showed us this picture. And this is what I mean by, look at her coordinating her little outfit. She's got a white top and white boots and little brown pants and a brown jacket. She's got her wigs on. Like, what are you doing? Her makeup is done. Look there. Whoa, this woman is scary. So, okay. And poor Melodee's always just behind, like trailing behind. Like her mother's always got her back to her. And you're going to see it from this footage now as well. So here, they have now shared this footage, right? And it's also from October 7th of 2025, right? And they say Santa Barbara County Sheriffs are releasing additional information in the ongoing search for missing at-risk 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard, including a portion of the surveillance video from October 7th of 2025 and updated investigative details indicating that Melodee's mother, Ashley Buzzard, may have changed her appearance during travel. If she changed her appearance, you know, anywhere from where Melodee was last seen to home, that is so scary. Then where's Melodee? What did she do with her? Detectives are now sharing a segment of the video footage taken on October 7th of 2025. That's when the trip started, right? At a rental car location in Lompoc, California. The footage corresponds to previously released still images and shows both Ashley and Melodee wearing wigs. Investigators also believe that Ashley swapped wigs throughout the trip, changing to a darker wig that is similar in color and style to the one that Melodee was seen wearing. This change in appearance is believed to have been intentional to avoid recognition during travel. What is she hiding? Because to change your license plates, to change your appearance, you're swapping out wigs. What are you hiding? Where's your daughter? Oh my word. Okay, so now let's have a look at this footage here, okay? It's only 9 seconds long. But here you can tell me what you observe from the body language here. Here again, already initially, her mother's back is to her. This is a cold mother. I almost want to do this mother, right? I mean, what is going on here? So, to me, Melodee, this is self-soothing behavior. She's looking very serious and just like going along with it. But she's probably wondering to herself, what are we doing? You know? Okay, so check this out. Shame. Poor Melodee. Just a little bit of background noise here, right? So let's play it again. Look. So she's initially looking at her. Melodee's smiling, but in a stressful way, in my opinion. It's like a, yeah, I'm with a crazy lady. I don't know what's going on here. Shame. Oh my word. Look, even her eyebrows are done. Her eyeshadow's done. Lashes are done. Wig is on. And I think she wore this wig since she got home. Because that's what I was saying in one of the live streams. Her hair looks very similar when she was at home in all the photos we saw of her. I think she just continued to wear this wig. Okay. Again. To me, Melodee looks nervous. What do you think? And this one looks like, don't worry, we're going to get through it, or whatever it is. What are you doing? What are you planning? Were you taking your daughter? Turns her back on her daughter. Huh. Okay, I would Love to hear your thoughts on this one. All right, so that's what they've now shared. That's the latest, right? And they said summary of previously released information. So I'm going to read it because it's important in case someone hasn't seen this, right? Not everybody watches live streams. Some people just watch videos, and this will be the perfect length for them. So the sheriff's office began its investigation on October 14th of 2025 when a school administrator reported Melodee's prolonged absence. Deputies attempted to locate Melodee and her mother Ashley at their residence in Lompoc, but were only able to speak with Ashley, who provided no verifiable explanation for Melodee's whereabouts. A search of the residence confirmed that Melodee was not there. Through the investigation, detectives confirmed the following. Ashley left California with Melodee on October 7th of 2025, driving a rented white 2024 Chevrolet Malibu that initially displayed California license plate 9MNG101. Detectives believe that Ashley and Melodee traveled as far as Nebraska with a return route that include Kansas. Now, why didn't they put that on their map then? Why is Kansas not part of the map? Right? But okay. Included Kansas. Beginning October 8th of 2025, the Malibu was observed with a New York license plate. Beginning October 8th. So that's already like kind of on the return trip, right? So October 7th they leave. By October 8th, maybe they're there in Nebraska and then returning home. Don't know when the license plate was changed, but why? You see, oh my word, that is so concerning. So New York license plate HCG 9677. So sometime there between the 9th and 10th, Melodee disappears. So the mother changes wigs and the license plates, like right before Melodee disappears. Oh dear. 77. The plate does not belong to the vehicle or Ashley and is believed to have been used as a false or switch plate to avoid detection. When the Malibu was returned to the Lompoc rental agency, the original California plate was back on the vehicle. That is such a red flag. So not only is she changing wigs and also changing into a wig that looked like the one that her daughter was wearing when the journey started, but the day before Melodee's last seen, the mother's changing the license plate to a New York license plate. And then at some point after that, changing it back to the original California license plate. Oh man, that cannot mean anything good. You know, that is terrible. So detectives have confirmed that Melodee was last seen on October 9th of 2025 on video surveillance in the region between the Colorado-Utah border. Ashley has continued to refuse cooperation and has not confirmed Melodee's location or welfare. Now the travel route, they say communities are asked to review surveillance, so they need the public's help with this. Detectives believe the Malibu traveled through the following areas on or around October 9th of 2025. Green River, Utah, Panguitch, Utah, Northwest Arizona, Primm, Nevada, and Rancho Cucamonga, California. The sheriff's office has released a travel route map and is urging businesses, gas stations, hotels, rest stops, and community members in these areas to review surveillance footage from, very specifically, October 9th to 10th of 2025. Detectives are urging anyone who has seen Melodee or has information about her whereabouts to contact, the tip line again, those numbers. So here where we've got these pictures, the FBI also released a map, which we've looked at before together in those previous episodes. If you check it out, it's the same that I mapped out just to show you what it would look like on Google Maps, right? So Panguitch, Utah, here's George, Utah, Primm, Nevada, there's Cucamonga, California, and Lompoc, California. Okay, now I'm quickly going to read you this article over here, which is from the Los Angeles Times. It says, a family's nightmare inside the investigation into Melodee Buzzard's disappearance. Shame. There's a paternal grandmother. So Melodee's dad died when she was 6 months old, right? And this would then be his mother. They say a 9-year-old girl with a winning smile and bouncy brown curls has not been seen since her mother took her on a mysterious road trip from Southern California to Nebraska and returned home alone. A month after Melodee Buzzard vanished, her relatives remain desperate for answers. But one person who may know what happened isn't talking. Melodee's mother, Ashley Buzzard, has refused to cooperate with investigators since October 14th, when a school administrator reported the girl's prolonged absence from an independent study program, according to the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office. The mother is believed to have traveled around 3,000 miles during a 4-day road trip, replete with bizarre details, including switching license plates and putting her daughter in a wig. Now, I'm from South Africa, And just to show anyone else who's from South Africa, or so that you guys can see what I mean, if you're from South Africa or if you go there and you're going to travel by car from Johannesburg to Cape Town, that is a long trip. It really feels like forever, right? Look at the time. Now that is about 800 miles, right? It's, 1,500 kilometers. Let's see, the shortest one, 1398. About 800 miles. So Ashley pretty much traveled from Johannesburg to Cape Town, back to Johannesburg to Cape Town, back to Johannesburg in 4 days. That is absolutely insane. Like, wow, she was on a mission. And we want to know what that mission was. What the hell was that all about? Where's your daughter? So 3,000 miles during a 4-day road trip, right? So including switching license plates and putting her daughter in a wig and switching wigs. On Friday, Buzzard was arrested on false imprisonment charges unrelated to the ongoing search for her daughter, according to the sheriff's office. Buzzard has not responded to the Times request for comment. I'm having a hard time sleeping, said Melodee's paternal grandmother, Lily Dennis. My baby's missing. I don't know what to tell you. It's been very hard for all of us. In the corner of her living room, Dennis has set up a shrine to her missing granddaughter. There's a framed photo of Melodee as a newborn with her late father, Dennis's son, Rubiel Pinoy Mesa. There's a photo of Melodee smiling at her grandma as a toddler. And there's a large black Bring Her Back poster that Dennis brought to a recent prayer vigil for the missing girl. The rest of the home is already decked out for Thanksgiving with ceramic pumpkins and strings of orange and gold decorative foliage. As a mother of 6 with many grandchildren and great-grandchildren, Dennis goes all out for the holidays. When you don't have one grandkid and we get together for Thanksgiving or Christmas, it's not the same, she said, wiping away tears with a tissue. She remains hopeful that Melodee will be found safely and tries to ignore the online trolls and internet crime sleuths who claim the girl's already dead. See, that's what we want to avoid. I don't like saying that either. I don't want to say that. I maintain the hope, okay, for myself. Like, I think she could be alive and out there and she needs to be found. What if her mother put her in some cabin in the woods and just like, survive, girl, I've stocked you up. See you later. Keeping you safe here from who knows what. From her extended family members who might want custody of her, from CPS for, checking on what Ashley's doing. Who knows? What if she's staying with friends, somebody that Ashley knows? What if she was trafficked or sold? Yeah, either way she needs to be found, right? So, yeah, shame. This poor grandmother. So the sheriff's office, in partnership with the FBI, has determined that Ashley and Melodee left their Vandenberg Village home in a rented 2024 Chevrolet Malibu on October 7th and drove to Nebraska and Kansas. Buzzard returned home solo on October 10th, authorities said. Both Melodee and Buzzard, so Melodee and Ashley, were apparently wearing wigs during the journey, and the mother reportedly changed wigs throughout, according to the sheriff's office. This change in appearance is believed to have been intentional to avoid recognition during travel. Okay, so now the rest, they're going over the timeline we've just gone over. I just wanted to read you some of the comments from the family members, right? So they said the girl's paternal relatives said that Buzzard has refused to let them see Melodee since 2021, something that weighs heavily on her grandmother Dennis's heart, right? Shame. Look at this. This bring her home. This is the type of stuff that Ashley Buzzard was tearing down. Melodee was born on February 10th of 2016, Dennis said. 6 months later, the girl's father was killed in a motorcycle accident. For the next few years, Buzzard and Melodee, so Ashley and Melodee, lived near family in Santa Maria, where Buzzard worked as a special education aide at a local school. Whoa. Dennis said that in 2021, another of her sons temporarily took care of Melodee while Ashley Buzzard was hospitalized for several weeks. During this time, Dennis said that she initiated the process to adopt Melodee because of concerns that she had over Ashley Buzzard's mental health and ability to care for the girl. But before legal proceedings began, Buzzard was discharged from the hospital, picked up Melodee from school, and left Santa Maria, Dennis said. Dennis said that Buzzard legally changed Melodee's last name to match her own and cut off physical contact with the girl's father's family. The grandmother has little clue what Melodee's life has looked like since then, but said that Buzzard had occasionally asked her for money over the years. Writes the family off but asks for money. Okay. Federal court records show that Buzzard filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in 2017. She's also had 5 collections and 1 small claims lawsuit for alleged unpaid debts filed against her in Santa Barbara County Superior Court, records show. This includes cases filed against her by Capital One Bank in May and December and by Crown Asset Management in November of 2024. Investigators say they believe that Buzzard homeschooled Melodee for several years, according to the Sheriff's Office. However, the California Department of Education has no record of Buzzard filing a private school affidavit, which is a requirement for homeschooling, according to the department's spokesperson, Scott Rourke. No. According to a statement from the Lompoc Unified School District, Melodee and her mother visited Mission Valley Independent Study School to initiate her registration in August. But Melodee failed to pick up assignments, prompting the school to reach out to her mother and ultimately law enforcement. Now again, anyone with information is asked to contact the tip line. Wow. Okay. So that is what we have in the updates today. The biggest one obviously being that Ashley Buzzard was arrested and is on an unrelated charge of felony false imprisonment, which is quite interesting. So please continue to monitor these links and sources as well, because this is where they update us. The Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office and also the FBI. I have linked all of this in the description box for you, as well as the previous episodes where we have deep dived this case. I've also linked Timothy Pitson's case in case you want to check that one out. You could also share that, because they are also, you just don't know who's going to see, the case, will be like, wait, I know that I saw him however many years ago. Or maybe Timothy himself, if he's alive and out there, sees it one day and he's like, holy crap, I remember something like that. You just never know, right? So I will keep you posted. If you didn't see my YouTube short, that is where I updated you first when Ashley was arrested. So, within half an hour of it being announced that she was arrested, I made a YouTube short to make sure that you guys are in the know of what's happening, because I get a flood of emails, letting me know, and I'm like, okay, but here's a YouTube short that I made for you. So just please check out my YouTube shorts and my community posts. I only say that because I don't want you to miss anything. I want to keep you updated, but I don't always just make a video or go live. Sometimes I make YouTube shorts quickly just to tell you what the update is, or I quickly post something on the community tab just to keep you in the know. And also on Patreon, you could join the free tier there as well. There I give you notifications and I'll just quickly update you about things. So yeah, those are ways to find the info. Or on X, you can follow me. My handle is @TrueCrimeGizzler. All my official links are on grizzlytruecrime.com. Just know that there are, of course, impersonators, bots, whatever out there. So make sure you follow the links that are on my website, grizzlytruecrime.com. Let's hope that Melodee will be found safely soon. I really hope for a press conference soon where they say that they located her, that she's okay, or whatever it is. And we find out more from there. But this mother, oh man, she better start talking. I think at this point, she's just pissing everybody off. Seriously, woman, what is your problem? What were you doing? What were you thinking? You thought no one would know? The whole world knows. We're all looking at you. Better start talking. All right, everyone. In the meantime, stay safe.